Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to go over with you guys a book I just read. I know you guys have been thinking I've been MIA because I haven't been doing like a week to week book with you guys, but I have been reading. This is the book that I just finished this morning, actually, on my way home. This is called Well Read Black Girl, and I really like this book because it's just a compilation of stories written by black women and their experience with representation in books that they've read. Representation of black girls, girls their skin color, girls their sexual orientation, and so on and so forth. I think this was like a really good read. I just wanted to go over some of the books that were listed in here because they gave a lot of really good book recommendations to people. This is the category. It's called Well Read Black Girl Selections 2015 and 2018. So these are recent books. The Star Side of the Bird Hill by Naomi Jackson. The Turner House, Angela Flournoy. Sorry. Flournoy. Negroland, a memoir by Margot Jefferson. Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Jam on the Vine, LaShonda Catrice Barnett. We Love You, Charlie Freeman, Caitlin Greenidge. Homegoing, Ya Gyasi. The Perfect Find by Tia Williams. Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis Benn. The Thunder Beneath Us by Nicole Blades. You Can't Touch My Hair by Phoebe Robinson. The Mothers by Britt Bennett. Swing Time by Zadie Smith. Whatever Happened to Interracial Love by Kathleen Collins. Difficult Woman by Roxanne Gay. This Is Just My Face by Gabri Sidibe. What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky by Leslie Nika Arima. Arima. No One Is Coming to Save Us by Stephanie Powell Watts. This is like the third time I've seen this one. I want to read that. What We Lose by Zinzi Clemens. Electric Arches by Eve Ewing. A Moonless Starless Sky by Alexis Okeowo. And Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon. My Soul Looks Back, a memoir by Jessica B. Harris. Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward. This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jerkins. An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. Freshwater by Akwaki Emezi. Halsey Street by Naima Coster. Heads of the Colored People by Nafisa Thompson Spires. The Breakbeat Poets, Volume 2, Black Girl Magic by Mahogany L. Brown, Jamila Woods, Idrissa Simmons. How to Love a Jamaican by Alexia Arthurs. Unapologetic, a Black, Queer, and Feminist Mandate for Our Movement by Charlene A. Caruthers. Training School for Negro Girls by Camille Acker. She Would Be King by Wyatt Moore. Everyday People, The Color of Life, a short story, anthology, edited by Jennifer Baker. She Begat This, 20 Years of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Joan Morgan. There's a lot of books on this list that I foresee myself reading. Um, a lot of good books. I don't think I ever thought about representation of myself as a black girl when I was reading books as a kid. Um, I was going through things when I was a child, so I more so resonated with people who went through the same things that I went through, and it was usually like a little white boy, like Indian in the Cupboard, James and the Giant Peach was a big deal to me. Um, a Child Called It by Dave Peltzer was a really big deal to me, and a man named Dave that he wrote thereafter that was a big deal to me. And these were, white men, but I resonated with them because I grew up in an abusive home, and it was very inspiring to watch them escape from that and grow, and their story not end with that abuse, or their story just being like a pit stop of something. Like, they made the abuse that they endured seem like such a small like section of their life, um, and that just gave me hope. Being in the situation that I was in when I was a child, those were the books that I definitely resonated with. That when I saw James and the Giant Peach, which was produced or directed by Tim Burton, that's when I fell in love with Tim Burton, and his outlook on art and animation. So I don't think I ever thought about girls until I started okay, I'm the first time I ever felt like represented by a black girl in a book, I read God Don't Like Ugly and God Still Don't Like Ugly. And I want to say that was by Toni Morrison. And I resonated with that because it was a young girl. Um, she was dark skinned, but I didn't care about that. Colorism wasn't a thing for me. Still not. I know it is for some people. I know that's like a conversation in itself, but it was never a thing for me. What I resonated with her with is, once again, she was a young girl going through some level of abuse, and it just became a pit stop in her life. And it was real about how it described her feelings towards it, the things she was going through, and it didn't describe her in a like a victim or victim blaming kind of role. It was really like how she was thinking and how she was feeling and how she was describing things as she experienced them. And I really like resonated with that, because one of my fears about talking about the things that I went through is being seen as a victim, or being seen as someone that's trying to play the victim role, instead of just being seen as someone that's just telling their story and their and just telling my story and how I experienced my experiences, despite the other people who were in the same space with me experiencing them as well. That's a big fear for me. I haven't fully conquered it yet, obviously, because I can't even come out and say, things. Anyway, but just to see like this girl talk about it first person was just like eye opening to me. I loved it. Um, and Fly Girl by Omar Tyree was definitely a big one for me, because it was, when I was younger, it was frowned upon to be a young girl that was interested in sex and interested in sexuality. It wasn't okay. It was like, you're either, a wholesome good girl, or you're one of those fast girls that nobody wants their kids to be around. And I always thought that was like, I never thought about it. It just made me feel uncomfortable, because it made me feel like I was the only one that had this level of curiosity. But then when I would go around like certain cousins or certain girlfriends that had that same level of curiosity, it was just like, really shunned upon for a young girl to be interested or curious in her body and different feelings. And it's not like girls that age aren't feeling pleasures in certain areas, and they're not, being guided. And it was just like to read a book about a young girl that was, you know, she probably wasn't the same age as me, but she still seemed very young and immature, and but she wanted to do grown up things, and she was, and it was just a cool book to read. But anyway, moving on, I want to it's a few other lists that they gave in here. This one is titled "The Well-Read Black Girl Recommends Classic Novels by Black Women." I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, of course, by Maya Angelou. The Salt Eaters, Tony K. Bambara. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Um, Corregidor by Gail Jones. Quicksand by Nella Larson. Beloved by Toni Morrison. The Women of Brewster Place, Gloria Naylor. The Street, Ann Petrie. The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Jubilee by Margaret Walker. Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. Arnig, Harriet E. Wilson. And I like some of the stories that I heard in here about how some people learned how to read, how some people interpreted the books that they read, how certain books just changed their lives. And it's true. Like, I really appreciate, the people that take time to write a book, because as someone who is in the process of writing books myself, I see how much time and effort and energy it goes into it, and how many ups and downs you go through. And then when you have this finished product, you kind of, it's, I can't say for everyone, but for me, I feel like I don't know, like a now what kind of thing. Like, but I'm really hard on myself. I'm different. I'm a little weird. Uh, so I don't feel like good about things, and I don't know if everybody feels the same way I feel. I know a lot of artists personally that are really hard on themselves, and they'll release something and it'll be the best thing in the world, and they will be like so hard on themselves. And that's me. Like, I'll release something and I never feel like what I do is good enough, but then I'll have someone come and be like, oh my gosh, like, you did this, da da da, this changed my life. I read this, or I watched this video you did, and da da da. And so, like, that makes me feel good. And it's super cool to watch how artists and authors have influenced people on that level, like not even realizing it. They just wanted They just wanted to write a book. They just wanted to be heard. They just wanted to tell a story, and they end up changing someone's life because someone finally finds a book that they resonate with, that they can empathize with, that makes them feel like they're not alone. Because in reality, that's all we really want. Like, as much as we try to portray ourselves as being independent, not needing anybody, and this, that, and the third, we really just don't want to feel alone. We don't want to feel like we're the only person experiencing what we're experiencing, or learning the things that we're learning and how we're learning it. Because a lot of things that we are going through, there are usually negative stigmas to it, especially as a young black girl. There's a lot of negative stigma to different stages of development that young black girls go through, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like, we're never given that space to be natural and go through natural phases and changes in life without being picked and prodded at and judged in a negative way. So to read a book that someone wrote about a character who's going through the same thing, and it doesn't have that negative stigma or label to it, it's always refreshing. It's always like heartwarming and all those fun and warm and fuzzy feelings. Another list of books that they have up here is called Well Read Black Girl Recommends Books on Black Feminism. I just got done reading one. If you guys want to check out my video that I have on YouTube, it's shit, I forgot. Oh, Feminista Jones, Reclaiming Our Space from the Tweets to the Streets, or from Streets to Tweets. And that was a really good book. That was a really, really, really good book. It definitely opened up my eyes to black feminism and things that I knew, but I never really paid attention to, as far as the black woman inside the black movement. I already knew the things I knew about the black woman inside the feminist movement, but opening my eyes to things that I already knew, but I never put a word or a label to, when it comes to the Black Lives Movement, is just very eye opening. And it makes me sad and that black men feel like that the black feminist movement is about dismantling the black family and bringing the black man down, and it's really not about that at all. It's about solidarity among black women, because black women have a history with black men, and it's not all roses and butterflies and angels. And it just goes to show that, like, when you look at a lot of things, and I follow a lot of conscious black men on my page and stuff like that, and I see how they talk down about black women and how they judge black women and their expectations of black women. It's a lot, and I don't think black men realize the things that they're saying, or the expectations that they put, or even the jokes that they make about a black woman's body, or the phases or the psychological things that a black woman goes through within a cycle. And a lot of it has to do with ignorance. And that's why the solidarity amongst black women must exist, because we have to empower one another, and we also have to open up that dialogue with our children, with our sons especially, because we don't want them growing up with these crazy ideals of what a classy black woman is. Because a lot of these things that black men think is okay, or was okay to enforce or impose, or try to manipulate black women into accepting and going with, it's not okay. Like, it's okay to just let people live and attract your tribe, instead of spending so much time trying to force things on other women. That just is, black women come in flavors, bro. You can't enforce one thing you experience with one woman onto another. The same thing black women can't do with men. We could be in a relationship with one man, or have a friendship with one man or something, and he could be a certain kind of dude, and then we go on to the next dude, or we meet a different dude and make friends with. We can't go there with the same expectation that this person is going to be like the last person, because the last person was agreeable with us and our energy. Everybody is different, and we just need that ability to be different. But we're not given that. We have to fit into this mold of what a righteous woman is, of what a man thinks a righteous woman is. And then you have certain women who are so submissive to whatever is taught to them or told to them, that they go along with it, and they echo what the black man says, and they relay the message to impressionable women who beat themselves up, like, to the point of insanity, to the point where they make themselves sick or even die, just to just to uphold this physical or this mentality that's supposed to, emulate a righteous woman. And it's not right. And that's why we need black feminism, and that's why we need solidarity among black women. And it has everything to do with love and unity, and it has nothing to do with separation or competition or all these things that is being made out to be. It's none of those things at all. But anyway, some book recommendations for Black feminism is The Black Feminist Thought by Patricia Hill Collins, The Crunk Feminist Collection by Brittany C. Cooper, Robin M. Boylord, and Susanna M. Morris, Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, When and Where I Enter by Paula J. Giddings, Words of Fire, an anthology of African American feminist thought by Beverly Guy Sheftel, Feminism is for Everybody, Passionate Politics by Bell Hooks, Feminist Theory, From Margin to Center by Bell Hooks. All the Women Are White, All the Blacks Are Men, but Some of Us Are Brave, Black Women Studies by Akasha, Gloria T. Hull, Patricia Bell Scott, and Barbara Smith. Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde, Homegirls, a Black Feminist Anthology by Barbara Smith, How We Get Free by Kienga Yamata Taylor, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, Womanist Prose by Alice Walker, and Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman by Michelle Wallace. That's also the second time I saw that one. Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman. Yeah, I want to read that. That was also recommended in the Reclaiming Our Space book. And it sounds like it's a good read. This list of recommendations right here is the Well-Read Black Girl Recommends Books About Black Girlhood and Friendship. Black Girls and Friendship. I don't remember reading too many books about on that. I think as far as like black girlhood and black friendship, I mostly got from television. I think when I was looking for books, I wasn't even looking in that route. It just, when I did find them and I did come across books like that I loved, it touched me differently. But Copper's Son by Sharon Draper, The Friends by Rosa Guy, Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid, Brown Girl Brownstones by Paul Marshall, Daddy Was a Number Runner by Louis Meriwether, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, Sula by Toni Morrison, The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips, Disgruntled by Asali Solomon, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson, Another Brooklyn by Jacqueline Woodson, Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, and Black Girl in Paris by Shay Youngblood. So some really good recommendations right there. I'm definitely going to read some. I do love to read urban books. They're very easy to read when I want to do like a quick read. And they're very easy to write. I recently kind of played around with writing or editing an urban book or whatever, and it was it was like my first language kind of, very very easy, and I love it. I love it because I love to read books as written in our dialogue. I love to read books that are written in our dialogue because it lets me know that just because we speak the way we speak, it doesn't mean that we're uneducated or we're illiterate. It's how we speak, and it's okay. And it's so okay that we can read a book like this. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it makes sense to me. So this next list is Well-Read Black Girl Recommends Science Fiction and Fantasy Books by Black Women. This is the kind of book I'm writing. I'm writing a science and fantasy book because I don't feel like there's enough representation of black people in science and fantasy fiction books. Even in movies, like, it really irritates me. I was influenced by when Nick Cannon said that he didn't want to watch any more slave movies. He wanted to watch a movie with us as royalty, and so that's what inspired me to write the book that I started writing. Now, I've been writing this book for like 5 years now, but I'm almost done, y'all. So yeah, and then it's like whenever it's like a futuristic book, there's never any black people. Like, I don't know where we go. I guess we die. I don't know what kind of message is trying to be conveyed here when there's only like one or two black people. The Orville drives me nuts because there's one black woman with two black sons, and she falls in love with a robot. And then it's evident that the Mocklins are black, and then they like just they portray every black stereotype, every black employee stereotype, and then you have the other black guy who's just he. I guess he's the dumb one. It's just like, okay, guys, you can stop. You can stop now. You know what I mean? Like we get it. You don't like only the dumb ones survive. I don't understand. But yeah, whenever I watch movies, it's always just like one black person, if there is even a black person. So I guess that's just them telling us that we're not gonna make it. I don't know. But anyway, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, which I loved. I read that recently. I also have a video review of that. Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. My Soul to Keep by Tananarive Do. Brown Girl in the Ring by Nalo Hopkinson. The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Redemption to Indigo by Karen Lord. Venti by Nnedi Okorafor, and I like that author. She also wrote the Akata Warrior, I believe. I think I'm right on this one. Yeah, the Akata Warrior, and that was a really good book. Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor. Everfair by Nissi Shaw. Dark Matter by Cherie R. Thomas. And that's the list of the science fiction and fantasy books written by black women with black people in it, because we will make it to the future. And this is the next list. The well-read black girl recommends poetry by black women. I love poetry. I've been writing poetry since I was in like elementary school. Inserting my poetry in contests and stuff like that. Yeah, poetry is definitely like near and dear to my heart. But Crave Radiance, New and Selected Poems, 1990 to 2010 by Elizabeth Alexander. Annie Allen by Gwendolyn Brooks. Good Woman, Poems in a Memoir, 1969 to 1980 by Lucille Clifton. On the Bus with Rosa Parks by Rita Dove. Black Feeling, Black Talk by Nikki Giovanni. Naming Our Destiny by June Jordan. There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce by Morgan Parker. Homegirls and Hand Grenades by Sonia Sanchez. Ordinary Beast by Nicole Seeley. Wild Beauty by Natazaki Shanji. I'm sorry, I never knew how to say her name. She also wrote for the Color Girls, who considered Suicide When the Rainbow Wasn't Enough, which is also a great poem. I was the lady in blue. I did this arts thing in high school one time. Really good book. Really good play also. Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth by Warson Shire. Incendiary Art by Patricia Smith. Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith. Good Night, Willie Lee. I'll See You in the Morning by Alice Walker. And this is just a list of books that they gave us. And there's even more books. Like when you go on to read like everybody's individual story, you'll see like books that they've read. So yeah. And then at the end, they have, book recommendations, like a book for your witch phrase, a book to remind you of the dangers of the black bougie life, a book to read when you wish you could pack it all in and just be Missy Elliott, because who doesn't want to be Missy Elliott? A book to read when you meet that one person that insists that they are not like ugly black people because they speak German or something. Yes, real shit. Real shit. A book to read when you've decided the wind is not your lover and the forests are your home. A book to read when the apocalyptic projections of our current state of affairs have got you down. A book to read when you are wondering what it would be like to love in another lifetime. That sounds like a good category. A book to read after scrolling through pictures from Afropunk. Facts. A book to read when someone tries to shame you for enjoying Cardi B. I'm tired of people trying to shame me for enjoying Cardi B, or even City Girls, or even Stefflon Don. All of them. Like, I love them. It's all about solidarity among women. I love ratchet music. And how can you even say that you don't like when women get ratchet? Because you like sex and you like sexuality, and you like when women are sexy and when women own their sexuality. But it's like, it's just. There's so many terms and conditions. You're just supposed to sit and just breathe in a corner of the room. Be seen and not heard. That's what it is. That was never my strong suit either. And a book to read when you are searching for your way in the world. So, and of course, there's different books in there, but I'm not going to tell you what those books are, and I'm not going to tell you what the books are all in the back of this that I'm flipping, because these all got book titles in them. I'm not going to tell you none of that because you guys are going to get this book. It's $20. You're going to get it, you're going to read it, and you're going to go through the recommendations in this book, especially to those who are consistently talking about how there's no black woman representation and in literature. That is not true and could be far from the truth. All the books that I have been reading and that I will be reading with you guys are perfect examples of the truth of that. So get this book, and it has great recommendations in there for books to read in the future, especially if you are just honed in on just reading books by black women or just black people in general, or you just want to get into black culture because you're interested and you've been living your whole life being ignorant about the black woman's experience, and you would like to learn a little bit more on how our minds work and, you know, how our imaginations run wild and all that fun stuff. I mean, I think that's important. I feel like black women take the time to learn about every other race and culture and gender. I feel like that same energy should be redirected back towards us because we're the most disrespected women in the world. Um, it's just how I feel about the situation. Empathy is everything. Take a look. It's in a book. Read a rainbow. Yep. So yeah, take care, y'all.